Crazy.
Baby,
What's up?
we're going to be doing, I don't know how to say his name.
Say it.
But,
Say it. Like Accent Jackson with House Long. Say it. I want to hear you say it.
Bukhenik, I don't know, I can't say it. Bukhenik. Sergeant,
Bukhenik.
Detective,
Sergeant.
Bukhenik.
Bukhenik. Yeah.
Boy, how would you like to grow up with that last name?
Well, you know, I mean, that's pretty hard too.
That's
you
true.
know.
That's true. So he's going to be facing Action Jackson. The champ is back, right?
He's undefeated.
That's right. That's right.
He's undefeated.
So this is right before Action Jackson addresses him. So you can see he's already nervous.
He should be.
He's heard the rumors,
He has.
right? And Action Jackson is a...
He chops him, man.
Yeah.
He chops him. All right, let's get to it.
Ready?
Let's do it.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now he's in charge of
Sergeant Bukhenik,
Proctor,
I
right?
want to start with
Yeah.
one of the latter things
No.
that you
Is it?
discussed with Mr.
Yeah.
Lally. That's specific to
Sure,
the
we'll find
ring video that y'all talked about this morning. Do you have that in mind?
I do.
The search warrant that produced, and just so we're clear, I'm talking about the specific ring video or series of videos that were associated with One Meadows, John O'Keefe's home.
Okay.
Okay. You didn't write the search warrant for those ring videos, did you?
I did not.
You were not the affiant for those search warrants.
I was not.
Who was the author of the search warrant and the affiant?
It was Trooper Mike Proctor.
Who received the actual ring video or videos from the Ring Corporation?
It was Trooper Mike Proctor received it.
And who ultimately either logged those into evidence or controlled those once they were received from the Ring Corporation?
I believe it was Trooper Mike Proctor.
And ultimately, Sergeant Bukhenik, you did note that in addition to just the physical videos themselves, that login information and login keystrokes, et cetera, were requested from the Ring Corporation as well, correct?
What?
There was discussion with Ring asking for those logs.
I'll call it, is it correct to say an activity log?
That's what was requested, yes, activity log, yes.
So ultimately, the activity log would show who logs in, who accesses the data, things of that nature, correct? Or at least that was the hope.
That is what was requested.
All right. It would also show logging in and executing deletions, manipulating the log files, things of that nature, correct?
That is what was requested, yes.
When you reviewed those log or activity logs,
Changing his answer.
there was no evidence revealed that my client ever logged into that account, correct?
There was no activity logs provided by Ring.
So you have zero, hang on. Isn't it true that Ring contacted Trooper Proctor and indicated that they had created a Dropbox folder that contained the evidence that had been sought in the search warrant?
Objection. Sustained.
Isn't it true that the search warrant return specified account information, video recordings, and number 3, activity logs associated with video recordings for all times displayed in UTC?
I'm not aware of that, no.
Do you recall that activity logs were in fact provided from the Ring Corporation?
I do not recall that, no.
Okay. May I approach briefly?
Yes.
Here are the records, sir.
You'll notice the first 4 questions, he said the exact same answer. He's not giving them anything. He's going to
Take a look.
same answer. That's what they requested. That's what they
that
requested.
paragraph, which my finger's on, it's about the 3rd paragraph down the middle of the page. And review that to yourself and let me know when you're finished.
You know, whenever I got something handed to me when I was on the stand, I already knew what was on there. I didn't have to read it, right?
Yeah.
But they're just giving the courtesy
Right. I've reread some of mine because sometimes it was been a couple years and I don't really remember. So I'll take my time and read it.
Yeah.
You know, refresh my memory of what happened. But most of the time, when you know you're going to court, you remember the case.
You look up the event number, you start reading on it.
You just, I mean, a lot of it you remember, especially the big ones, and those are the ones you go to court on. So you already remember what you did. It's, you know, exactly what you said and stuff. Then you can read the report.
Have you had an opportunity to review that?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I love testifying. I thought it was fun.
It was fun.
You know, plus you get off the street for a couple hours.
Reflection as to the items received from the Ring Corporation?
That is the first time I saw that document, so it does not refresh my recollection. I simply read it.
Do you have a recollection as you sit here that, in fact, during the course of your investigation, the three items that you received from the Ring Corporation were the account information, the video recordings, and, quote, activity logs associated with the video recordings, all times displayed in UTC?
To the extent of its availability, as it says in that document.
Okay.
He does read
The long
it.
and short of it is, during the entire course of your investigation, you never revealed that investigation never revealed any evidence whatsoever that my client ever even accessed the account information for the Ring account associated with this search warrant, correct?
Nothing provided by Ring proved or suggested or proved any evidence of that type of activity, no.
Thank you.
All right.
Trooper Proctor, you were notified.
I am not Trooper Proctor.
I'm sorry. No, you're not.
Nobody call me the P word.
Don't you call me that.
Jim Bukhenik.
Bukhenik.
Bukhenik. Like I said, Bukhenik.
You can't. It's fine.
Bukhenik?
Yes.
Is that better?
That's better. Thank you.
If I screw it up again, please. On January 29th, you were notified about a Boston police officer found gravely injured outside the home of 34 Fairview at about 6:40 in the morning. Was that your testimony?
That is not.
What time were you notified?
I was not notified it was a Boston police officer.
So you didn't have that information upon the first notification?
I did not.
Okay, what information did you have?
There was a male party in the snowbank, possibly of a heart attack.
At what point did you learn that the individual was, in fact, a sworn Boston police officer?
I do not know exactly when I learned
Pause
that
it
he
for a
was a
second.
Boston police officer.
See that little message I got myself, right?
I like that.
So when there's always been an officer involved incident with Metro, we know what they are immediately. Because if there's somebody that knows him, what does he do? Where's he coming from? Where does he work? Right? We just staple questions. For him not to know that from the first time he got the call at 6 a.m., whatever it was, hey, we got a PO that's down.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't jive with me. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because it's a standard. If I mean, regardless of who they are, we're going to ask those staple questions.
Yeah.
You know, where they come from work, where they work, what's going on here, right?
Yeah. Do
Whatever
you
the
know
case
this
may
guy?
be. Exactly.
It's a simple question.
Yeah.
This guy laying here, do you know him? Yeah.
Who is he? Yeah.
What's his name? Second question. Where does he work?
Yeah.
What does he do?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a cop? Nobody asked that. See, here in Vegas, we would say he's a P number.
Yeah.
Right?
P
Our
number.
personnel number, right? We don't have badge numbers in Vegas. We have our P number, right? So your P number is everything. It never changes. Nobody can ever take it. Mine retired with me. Mine was 6541. It's retired. Stays with me forever. Yours was 7188.
Yep.
It's retired with him forever. So
Yeah.
you say, hey, all you have to do, any family member knows he's a P number. Everybody knows you're a cop.
Yep.
Everybody in Vegas, that's a cop. What's a P number? So,
Yep.
yeah, it's disgusting that he doesn't know. They should have known at the scene right off the bat.
Yeah.
And if Karen didn't say anything, Jen should have. But
Yeah.
everybody should have said, that's a cop, that's a cop, that's a cop. There's a reason they didn't say, that's a cop, that's a cop, that's a cop. There's the big reason they did not say those words, right?
They didn't want the cavalry to come.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. That's why he didn't know. It's a shame.
I think it was during that day or the following day.
It was most likely that day, either. Yeah.
Fair enough.
See, he
Proctor
doesn't
was
look
ultimately
very happy
assigned
that
as the
question came out.
What did you call him? Not lead investigator, but Case officer?
That's correct.
He was assigned on the 29th, correct?
He was on call from 7 a.m. on January 28th until 7 a.m. on January 29th.
So he got the call by 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
He was assigned on the 29th because he was on call.
He was on call. His assignment took effect when the schedule came out back in mid-December.
Okay. Well, he wouldn't be assigned to this investigation until there was a need for the investigation, right? That's all I'm getting to. I mean, once
Well,
the
if
call
it's a
came,
call-
he was the assigned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Once the calls
Yes.
come in, the
Yes.
person that's on call is automatically
Takes it.
assigned that case.
Takes
All
it,
right.
that's right.
Did you
100%.
personally, as his supervisor, did you personally respond to 34 Fairview at any point on January 29th?
No, I did not.
Did Trooper Proctor, at your direction or on his own, ever respond to 34 Fairview Road at any time on January 29th?
No, he did not.
Based on your initial investigation, and I'm talking about Sergeant,
How do you investigate and not even go?
Yeah.
by 10 or 10:30 in the morning, 10:40 in the morning, it was your belief that Mr. O'Keefe had been struck in the face by a person. That was your initial understanding of the circumstances surrounding the investigation, correct?
My initial understanding was that the defendant stated that she hit him. We did not know.
What?
You hadn't even met my client at that point. You hadn't interviewed a single witness by 10:41 in the morning, correct? Not one witness.
That's not correct. We had already interviewed the first responders.
Quarterback keep his head and eyes up once he enters the huddle and is communicating with his teammate.
Okay, when I say witness, I'm talking about
Yep.
civilian witnesses.
Yep.
10:41, you hadn't interviewed a person at 34 Fairview or civilians associated with this incident, correct?
At that point, no civilians have been interviewed now.
But at 10:41, Sergeant, you contacted Good Samaritan Hospital to inform them that, quote, Mr. O'Keefe was struck in the face with a cocktail glass, end quote, correct?
I do not recall contacting Good Samaritan Hospital.
May I approach?
Yes.
Now he's got that tick, right? Yeah.
Now he's thinking, I did call them that one time though.
That's one of his tails right there.
I'd
is
like
that
you
tick.
to take a look at this document, and if you wouldn't mind, pay special attention to the second page, the bottom paragraph where it's tabbed in pink.
I can't believe he didn't go to the scene. That is, while he's reading, I can't believe he didn't go to the scene. Or Proctor. That blows my mind that you're the case agent, the lead investigator.
You
You're
need
not
to
even
go
going to
out
go to a dead body call. And also, once you know it's a cop, you don't even go to the scene? How?
You need to go out there and get a lay of the land.
Yeah, even
Right?
if the body's gone, all that, you still need to go and get a feel for it. Because, I don't know, scenes have a feeling. They
Yeah,
do.
They do. Tell a story.
A few
Yeah.
moments later.
May I approach?
Yes.
That is just unacceptable.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry.
Pause it for a second, Steve.
Bad on you, Mr. Bukhenik.
Does this refresh?
So getting back to what we're talking about, these guys not going to the scene
Right.
till the next day, right?
Yeah, well,
Or later that day. Let's say later that day.
I think a call came in around 6:45 or 6:05, something like that,
Yeah.
between 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And they didn't even start anything until what, 10:40?
Yeah.
So you're talking almost 4 hours.
Yeah. That just doesn't make any sense because
No.
you need to get out there as soon as possible.
Yeah, I would if I got the call. This would have been us. Hello, what? Okay, all right, we're on our way. All right, bye. Let's go. We got a
Grab
dead
our
body.
coat and go.
Yeah, we got a dead body in the yard. Okay, who is he? I don't know yet. I don't know anything. Let's go.
Yeah.
And we're going there as quick as we can.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to. That's what Proctor and Bukhenik should have done. That's exactly what they should have done. Yep, we're on our way. All right, bye. It's that easy. It really is.
And they said when he said that he met with the first responders, right?
Right.
Okay, I get that. You get
Yeah,
the,
of
you
course.
get the information. Hey, what's going on? What you guys have?
Yep.
What you see? Who'd you talk to?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If they said we ain't talked to anybody, that's when they start knocking on doors.
Yeah. That's when you start sequestering the witnesses. Say, hey, we need to talk to you, everybody in separate spots. That's why you need more cops.
Yeah.
Each cop should sit on. Wow. Should sit on each person.
Yep.
Because witnesses have a tendency to
You wander
wander
off.
away.
Yep. And you don't want them to group together because then their stories start bleeding together.
Correct. You have to separate them so that way they're sitting by themselves. And again, you're sitting by yourself for an hour or two in the cold or whatever, and next thing you know, you're like, you know what, I'm out of here, and then you leave. That's why a cop we used to take their license from them.
Yeah.
That way they won't leave without their license.
And we'd sit with them in the car and just listen to them. We'd pretend to be listening to music, but we'd be listening to the spontaneous utterances that they would make.
We're both having trouble talking.
I know. Sure, Steve-O.
I said shit on them.
Good Samaritan Hospital and gave them an assessment, at least based on your investigation at that time.
That is not true.
Okay. What did you say to Good Samaritan Hospital?
I never spoke to Good Samaritan Hospital. That document is from the medical examiner's office.
I'm not asking you where the document is from.
Yeah.
I'm asking you if the document says
Did you call
Trooper Yuri Bukhenik called back at 10:41 stating the case is now being treated as a suspicion.
The objection sustained.
Did you call back to Good Samaritan Hospital and say that the investigation was being treated as a suspicious due to a domestic situation? Did you say that?
I never spoke to Good Samaritan Hospital.
Did you say that there's a possibility that D was struck in the face with a cocktail glass?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you ever contact anybody at any medical facility and indicate that the investigation was being treated as a suspicious, in quotation marks, because the victim appeared to have been struck in the face by a cocktail glass?
Objection.
Allow that. Did you ever say that?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, I did say that to the medical examiner's operations desk.
Okay, so
You know why I can tell you all this? Because you lying mother. You're as full of shit as I am. And you gotta live with it and play it out for as long as it goes, right? Trapped in the same lie.
So when I was asking you for your percentage of the exam, you said, no, that's not true. That's never happened. You were correcting me on the fact that it happened at the medical examiner's office, not a good exam.
I responded and answered your question honestly, yes.
Okay, so honestly, you did, in fact, at 10:41 a.m., indicate to another professional involved in the investigation that the circumstance was being treated as a physical assault at that point, correct?
I communicated our suspicions to the medical examiner's office.
And that was
Pause it, Steve.
at 10:40.
Okay. So he said at first that he was struck in the face, right?
Right.
Okay. He's seen a lot of fights,
Yep.
right? He knows what a punch to the face or something looks like.
Right.
So their first assessment was 100% correct. Right? You don't, the little instinct that you get, that you think, oh no, he got fucking beat up, is what he got.
Yeah, unless some crazy story comes out of left field.
Right.
Which does happen here and there. But usually, if it looks like it, it's it.
Right?
It ain't rocket science, people.
Right? And that was his first impression.
Yeah. Yeah, because he looks like he got beat
Yeah.
up. Looks like he got hit in the face with something.
Exactly. So
Because he did.
he's right, but then they kind of mold it to the other direction, right?
Yeah, they went down a weird road
Yeah.
to get to that.
Yeah. Steve-O.
41 or thereabouts in the morning, correct?
That's correct.
Your initial investigation during those obviously critical hours, the beginning hours, led you to believe that there was at least a good possibility. You indicated that you made a phone call, that it was a physical altercation that led to John O'Keefe's death, correct?
That's correct, yes.
What steps did
Because it
you
was.
take, sir, in those moments, to determine whether someone in the house at 34 Fairview may have been involved in that physical altercation that you suspected at the time?
As investigations develop, we followed the evidence and statements made. The steps I took was
See how he's stuttering
Trooper
right there?
Proctor and I
Struggling?
proceeded to an eyewitness who was also present at the scene when the victim was discovered and interviewed Ms. McCabe.
Jen.
And prior to that,
North Jen.
prior
That's
to
the
interviewing
worst
Ms.
interview
McCabe,
you could have.
By the way, that was at Ms. McCabe's home, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Even though you believe that there may have been a physical altercation, you didn't ask anybody to come down to the station. Is that right? Any of the witnesses?
That's correct.
And you did not seek to actually go to the physical location of 34 Fairview in those next few hours
That's correct.
or the next few days, correct?
Not myself, no.
Okay. As a matter of fact, Trooper Proctor did not either, did he?
No, he did not.
House is a potential crime scene. You certainly know how to do that, right?
That's a cop-out question. Do you want me to answer whether I did it?
What?
Or whether I know how to do it?
Well, I'll ask the question. If you can answer it, please answer it.
Let's see if you can answer it.
Can you answer that question?
I can answer that question.
Why don't you answer?
Yes, I do know how to do that.
And you didn't, as a Massachusetts State
We're on
Police
back now.
official, you didn't secure the outside as a crime scene either, did you?
Yeah, pause it. Let's see if we can go back and get
I
that
did not
question.
know.
To your knowledge,
That might be the problem.
Sorry about this. No, we're going to leave it. Steve's fault. It's 100% Steve's fault. Everybody, right now in the comments, you yell at Steve.
Steve. Producer Steve. / Gonzo.
Shame.
next few hours,
That's correct.
you didn't secure the interior of the house as a potential crime scene. You certainly know how to do that, right?
We didn't hear that. Yeah, that was.
That's a cop-out question. Do you want me to answer whether I did it or whether I know how to do it?
He's a little saucy, isn't
He
he?
is.
If you can
He
answer
is.
it, please
Because
answer.
he knows he messed up. That's
Can
why.
you answer that question?
I can answer that question.
Why don't you answer both of them then?
First portion is we did not secure the home as a crime scene. And the second portion, yes, I do know how to do that.
And you didn't, as a Massachusetts State Police official, you didn't secure the outside as a crime scene either, did you?
I did not know.
To your knowledge,
Really?
nobody else from Massachusetts State Police ever did either, did they?
Yes, they did.
How was that done and when?
When members of our office and the CERT team responded to that location and secured the front yard grass area and processed it.
That
For
was
30
at
minutes, probably.
It's Mr. Gallagher, Lieutenant Gallagher,
Yeah.
with Mr. Tape.
29?
I believe it
What was
was
the date?
earlier, but I was not present, so I can't testify to the time.
So you don't know personally what they did to quote unquote secure or not secure the crime scene. You know they searched it, but in terms of securing it as a crime scene, you don't have personal knowledge to that.
Not
I
a
was
big
not
deal.
present.
Yeah, you don't need it.
This is what a crime scene looks like.
Correct.
One raspberry, push it. One orange. It's really good. Yeah, that's all I have.
Not too bad. Let's see if we can find a book now. You're a public servant.
Yep.
What you got here? Oh, beats me, Sarge. Dandruff, seborrhea, maybe just dry, itchy scalp.
Have you tried this herb? I use it.
Head and shoulders? Sarge, you don't have dandruff?
I know.
You never took any photos of the interior of the house, correct?
Got to keep you guessing,
You
son.
never caused CSSS to go inside the house and process that house as a potential crime scene, correct?
I did not, no.
No forensic criminalist at your direction ever went into 34 Fairview.
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
No, they did not.
The blood, it'll go away.
It'll go away. We don't need them. What did you do, sir?
That's a good question.
That's the
bro.
question.
That's a good
What
question.
did
On
you do?
January 29th, you already mentioned Ms. McCabe. The other people were her husband, Matt McCabe, correct?
That's correct.
And her brother-in-law, Brian Albert. Is that right?
That is correct.
And all three of them were interviewed where?
They were interviewed at the McCabe residence.
Now, yesterday when you testified, did you indicate that Brian Albert was not present in the home when you interviewed Matt McCabe and Jennifer McCabe?
They were not. He was not present in the dining room when we were interviewing each individual separately.
So if all three of them testified that he arrived before you arrived, they would all be wrong.
I did not see him in the home when we arrived. No.
He was
I
hiding
want to switch
upstairs.
gears real quick to
Or downstairs.
Or downstairs. I think he was
a couple of the
upstairs.
physical items that you testified about yesterday, specifically the gray shirt or the gray hoodie and the orange shirt. You and Trooper Proctor collected both of those items you indicated from the floor of the hospital at Good Samaritan, correct?
That's correct.
You testified that you and Trooper Proctor immediately bagged both of those items. They were sort of sopping wet, I think you said.
That's correct.
You indicated that the bags were so wet that you had to take the items back out of the bags and then lay them out on, I think you said, butcher paper. Is that right?
The items were soaked and wet. They were bagged, double bagged, to prevent leakage of physiological fluids and the moisture coming off of it. And then
Blood and
once
water.
they were transported to the office, they were laid out on butcher paper in order to dry naturally.
So you went from Good Samaritan directly to Dighton, correct?
That is correct.
And then you went from Dighton directly to the Canton Police Department, after which you had seized the vehicle, correct? And the phone.
We seized the phone in the vehicle in Dighton and then followed the tow truck straight to the Canton Police Department.
So at some point, if you had received or gathered the wet clothing at Good Sam, went from Good Sam to Dighton Canton PD, at what point that evening did you finally get those items of clothing out and laid out to dry?
It was late that night, around 10 or so.
So where were the items in the meantime?
They were stored in the back passenger compartment of my pickup truck.
In those double bags.
Correct.
Hey, Steve, pause for a second.
Who took control of the items?
Maybe a minute or two.
He's just going to drive down to 7-Eleven, right?
Well, that's just
throw them
it.
out in the dumpster.
First of all, I talked to our CSI techs here. We are pretty privileged here in Vegas. We really are.
We are.
So for us in a process like that, if we were to call CSI to the hospital, hey, this is evidence. This is evidence. They bag it, tag it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's saturated with water, blood, and biles, right?
Mm-hmm.
They take that to a climate-controlled room, lay it out on like a cookie sheet type with the grates on it, so air flows fully through it, right?
Yeah, like a cookie pan.
Right.
Cookie sheet.
And on the bottom of it, so if it does drip, they have this sheet that also is designed to preserve any evidence that's there,
That drips
so
down.
they can scrape it off into a container to where they can inspect that as well, right? So
is butcher papers, I'm assuming, is like a
It's-
parchment paper?
it is.
like a parchment?
It doesn't.
It doesn't
soak.
stick.
It doesn't soak.
It doesn't
either.
get wet and
right,
doesn't stick.
Right.
Okay.
So basically the same stuff. But for him to have that evidence, as crucial as it is, in the back of his truck, in the elements, which is still cold as a witch's tit,
Yeah,
right?
in an iron bra.
Right. That doesn't do it any good.
I agree.
Right. So I don't like that chain of custody or how they, and maybe that the stadies here bag it and tag it themselves. You know, they might
probably-
have that advantage that we do here.
They probably don't.
But even then, one of them should have beelined it right to the evidence vault, so the evidence people could process it.
Yeah. Let the people who know how to do it do it.
Yeah.
That's why we have those people. We don't know how to do it, but they do.
Yeah.
So let's get it to them as quick as possible.
Yeah. Roll it.
To then lay them out late that night at the office.
I do not recall.
Is that you or Trooper Proctor?
I don't recall. I don't remember.
At some point, obviously, it was getting late. You'd been on duty for a long time that day. You went home at some point, correct?
At some point, yes.
Did you wait for those clothes to dry before you went home, or did you leave that in Trooper Proctor's hands?
No, once they were laid out in the processing area in the office, we went home.
Okay. Who would have controlled those items of evidence when you left?
The office.
they're under lock and key within the secure area of the district attorney's office, so they're secured. Nobody's in physical control watching guard over them.
Who had access to that area?
People are people, right?
Troopers in our office.
Meaning you, obviously.
Yes.
Supervisor. Trooper Proctor as well, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Ultimately, given the fact that he was the case officer, sort of in charge, the lead, he would have bagged those items up, been responsible for taking those items, tagging them, getting them stored wherever they needed to be stored and processed, correct?
As a case officer, he could direct other people to perform those tasks for him. The evidence officers in the office log in the evidence, and once it was dried, it was sealed up, bagged, and put into storage. As far as who actually performed those tasks, I do not know.
Well, yesterday, Your Honor, may I approach the courts, right? There's a couple of evidence.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Thank you.
Did you know that they found pork DNA?
Pork?
Yeah,
DNA?
on his shirts. What do you give your dog treats?
This is not a vision contest.
Pork ears.
I'll bring this
Yeah,
up to you
sometimes,
in just a second, but just for familiarity's sake, do you recognize these two bags as bags that you brought to court with you yesterday?
They look familiar, yes.
Okay. This one has a 437 on it on my right. The one on my left has a 438 on it. May I approach briefly?
Yes.
Pork chops and applesauce. Pork chops and applesauce.
The Brady Bunch. Oh.
Some of you will get it. Man, you ruined it.
Don't worry about it. Clubbing up.
We're old.
The
You old
bag
people will
on
get it too.
your left, which one is that, 437 or 438?
The bag on my left is 437.
437, okay. And you indicated that those items were bagged after the clothing was dried and then ultimately processed logged in, correct?
Once the items dried, they were bagged and logged in, waiting processing, yes.
But you didn't personally do that.
No, I did not, no.
Matter of fact, looking at the bag on your right, what's been marked as Exhibit 430, help me? 438,
It's a rough looking bag.
Yeah, dude. It's seen some mileage.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, that's a rough looking
Yes,
bag.
it has a lot of hand writing on it, yes.
And that
As it
is,
should.
whose handwriting is that?
I don't know.
You've seen
Chain of custody.
handwriting
Yep.
1,000 times, I'm guessing, correct?
Not 1,000 times, but
Does it look like his writing?
it says Trooper Proctor on it, but other than that, I do not know what Trooper Proctor's handwriting looks like.
All right. It indicates that Trooper Proctor is the one that bagged that item or those items up, correct?
Yes, this bag indicates that the item was collected by Trooper Proctor on 129.
Right.
At 10.
And it says Brockton, correct?
Good Samaritan Hospital in Brockton, yes.
That was, you just took the question out of my mouth. That's where Good Samaritan Hospital is, correct?
That's correct.
And there's a tag or a printed label, looks like a label maker of some sort.
Evidence tag,
on
yeah.
that physical bag, correct?
Yes.
Before we get to that, what's the description on that bag in handwriting?
I'm sorry, can you be specific as to description of what, or?
Where it says
The whole
description.
bag looks like shit.
Yeah, but the item list tells you what's in there.
Yeah.
Description of enclosed evidence?
Correct.
Yeah, it should
says
have an itemized
one
list.
orange T-shirt, one gray long sleeve shirt.
Okay. So may I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
What about the rest?
It's in the other bag.
The other bag?
Just so I close this loop. What's the description on the bag to your left, the one that looks like it's less wrinkled?
Yes.
Number
The one that doesn't look
437.
like it's been through war.
If you would read the same clothing description.
The description of enclosed evidence states sweatshirt with recovered items inside container.
Okay. May I approach now?
Yes.
Thank you. Yesterday when you opened, I'll keep my voice up. Yesterday when you opened these two bags, this one, 437, has the gray sweatshirt in it. 438 has the orange T-shirt in it now, correct?
That's what was in the bag, yes.
All right. However, the bag indicates at one point This bag, 438, the physical bag I'm holding in my left hand, had both the sweatshirt and the t-shirt together, correct?
That's what the description is. I do not know if that was in case or in fact the case.
Somebody messed up.
See? It's exactly what they did with that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody messed up. Jackson's calling him on it.
How'd he do that?
It's magic, son. Magic is real. Damn, he's good. I do love me some good magic.
Pause it for a sec, Steve. How important is it to not cross-contaminate evidence?
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
That could happen all.
mix some food in there with it, whatever you need.
Take a little red cup.
Kool-Aid, drop, blood, whatever.
right.
Mix it all up in the bag, shake it.
Dude, that's just not proper procedures, man. It really isn't.
I don't think they have procedures written down. We got to find their policy manual. Anybody out there in Canton, if you can find us their policy manual.
Man, that'd be interesting to see.
I wonder if it's probably not a book though.
Not by disc.
Most are like a drive, flash drive. I wonder if
Ours is a disc now these days.
Well, because ours, when we hired on, ours was this big. Now it's this big.
Yeah.
The policy manual. So now it's on flash drive because otherwise, if we printed it, we would kill every tree on the planet.
Yeah. Yep.
We would make the Amazon extinct.
I wonder if we could find it online
You
somewhere.
don't know is because you're not the one that bagged Trooper Proctor did, correct?
Correct.
The reason I don't know is I wasn't present during the separation of those items, and I did not observe it taking place, nor was I made aware of how the items were separated or when.
Maybe you should have been.
Clueless.
Tag,
Maybe you should have been as the sergeant.
Label maker looking tag, the white tag
Just
that's
saying.
on that bag indicates that it was, indicates a date of February 4th, correct?
You'd have to bring that back up. I'm
sorry.
I didn't
4
take
days
note of
later.
that.
My fault.
So as the leader, you should have made sure that's done correctly. It's a murder, right? It's a homicide, you think, right? So
Yeah, Your Honor.
Yes.
shouldn't you do your due diligence,
Tag.
Bukhenik?
And the date
Yeah?
associated with that tag.
Just saying.
The label maker tag does have the date February 4th, 2022 on bag number exhibit 438.
May I approach?
Yes.
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Sergeant.
It's been a while since we saw Aunt Bev. I miss her sustain.
Yeah.
I miss Valley's. Objection.
I miss her.
Sustained.
Her glasses twirls.
That's obviously 6 days after the item was actually recovered on the 29th, correct?
Yes, it is.
So that indicates, at least based on that tag, that that item was not booked into evidence and processed until 6 days after it was actually recovered on the floor at Good Samaritan Hospital. Is that right?
The date indicates February 4th, 2022.
Right, and that date would be indicative in your
You don't wanna say it.
experience of the date that it's moved into processing by some other folks, the evidence sergeants or whomever, or the evidence officers rather, or whomever, correct?
I can't speak to their procedures as far as when they print the date. That date could be when they printed the label, but the bag might have been tagged otherwise. I do not know that.
But there's
how it
no other
works.
tag on that bag that suggests an
That's not
earlier
how it
date,
works.
correct?
It's got to be sealed.
Bagged and tagged at the
There's just
same
that
time.
one tag
Signed
from
first name,
label
or first
maker.
letter, P number,
question to you,
last number
if you
of
know,
your initial.
First
Sir, and
initial,
you
last
may not
initial,
know,
P number in
is
between.
what was happening
Date and time.
to these items between January 29th, after you lost sight of them that night on the butcher paper, and February 4th, when that tag indicates that they were first processed.
To the best of my knowledge, those items were drying on the butcher paper.
For 6
Never checked?
days?
You never checked? You never even wanted to look?
If that's
You never
what the
wanted to make
label
sure that
maker says,
the
yes,
main
for 6
evidence-
days. They were soaking wet.
Oh.
And those would have been certainly accessible to and in the possession of the lead case officer in the case, is Trooper Proctor, right?
Yes, if Trooper Proctor needed to review those items, he would have access to those items. Absolutely.
And you're also aware that the first actual log of any chain of custody for those items is March 14th, when they were finally submitted 6 weeks later to the crime lab.
That is not true. The first actual log of those items is when we collected them from the hospital.
Where's the log? I'm talking about the physical log, like sign in, sign out log.
6
Where's the
weeks?
log?
Dude,
It's
Six
documented in the
weeks?
reports saying that we collected him.
I know that there's a report. Anybody can write
There's
a
the
report,
log.
right?
Yeah.
I could write a report. Doesn't mean anything. I'm asking for a log.
Objection.
So
Gotta have an
the
evidence
objection
log.
sustained.
he's mad, dude.
Obviously,
He's mad.
Yeah.
items move in and
He's
out
like,
of
dude, get
people's
off the
custody
log.
in an official capacity for the Massachusetts State Police. There's a log of that, correct?
Yes. And procedures.
It's documented, yes.
Or at least it should be, correct?
It's documented.
Documented in the log.
The log
It's documented in the log, people.
before March 14th.
It's documented in the report.
There is no log, is there, Sergeant?
He's talking about the incident crime report.
Yeah,
That's all he's talking
probably.
about.
As the sergeant, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
We have very
Some
specific
searches
procedures and
that
policies
Mr.
for our
Riley asked you
evidence
about
log.
February
Yep.
4th and February 10th,
They
very
don't.
specifically. Both of those searches you were involved with out at 34 Fairview, correct?
Correct.
But Sergeant, you didn't personally write a report about your conduct at 34 Fairview on either of those 2 dates. In other words, you didn't go back to the station and generate a report yourself.
I don't recall doing that, no.
There were no photos that you took of the items at the location.
I did.
Somebody else took photos, correct?
I did not take photos of the items. no.
Okay. And the first report that indicates anything that happened or was recovered at the location on either February 4th or February 10th, that was first notated in a report dated November 4th, 2023, year and several months later, correct?
If you say so, I do not know the
Hey,
exact
Steve,
date.
pause for a
that
second.
report would have
A
to.
couple minutes. So listen, what did we have in our pockets?
Notebooks.
What were those notebooks for?
Write shit down.
And how long did you keep your notebooks?
I went through a notebook probably every 2 weeks to a month.
Okay.
I'd have to get a new one. I had a stack of them in my locker.
But you
'cause
kept them.
Saved your
You
old
kept
ones.
them.
You always saved
kept
your
them.
old ones.
Yep.
'Cause
And
you
you always
might
write
need
the
it.
event number.
Yeah.
Because how many times were you sitting in briefing and say, hey, do you guys remember this guy? And you thumb through your notes. Oh yeah, I made contact with him here.
Bunch.
Right?
A bunch.
So
A
anytime
bunch.
that I would talk to somebody, I'm a scribe, dude.
Yep. Me
I'm
too.
scribing.
Me too.
Right?
Me too. And it's funny when you have when you meet somebody, right, or you take down their information when you stop somebody out on the street, right, and then I run into Gonzo a couple hours later or a couple days later. Hey man, I'm looking for this guy. He's missed this is his name and this is his description. Cops, we have really good memories, so you can. Many times I've been like, hold on a second, and I'll grab even an old notebook, thumb through. Here he is.
Yep.
There's it because I always get their name, date of birth.
Because they might give me a different name.
Right, Soch, if they'll give it, they don't have to, but name, date of birth, Soch. I'll even ask them for their phone number, you know, and sometimes a lot of people will just give it to you. Some people are like, I'm not giving you my phone number. That's fine.
And how many times?
But you always ask.
How many times that information in your notebook that's 3 months old become important
It's
in the future?
multiple
Right?
times.
Absolutely.
Plenty of times. More often than you think.
So for him not to write anything down, and maybe they don't have to, I don't know. But he should write something down that he talked to these people and this is what they said. Because your mind, you start hearing different stories, and if you don't write it down, your story starts gelling together.
Yeah, you're going to forget the people. You're going to forget who said what. So I even sometimes put down a description of the person.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just to refresh my memory.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't think it's about policies and procedures, man.
Just cop
It's
savvy.
just cop 101.
Yeah.
When people tell you stuff, you write it down.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Be presented to me.
May I approach?
Yes.
You don't have to read the whole thing, but if you can skip to the part that talks about the February 4th and February 10th searches.
I can't believe it was 6 weeks later.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Well, for us, it's a fast process because our cases are going pretty quick.
Yeah.
They might not have that high volume of calls, you know.
What's the date of that?
So shouldn't it be even quicker then?
Does that reflect your recollection as to
Throw it in a dryer.
the report that actually talks about the February 4th and February 10th searches?
It does.
And what's the date of that report, sir?
This report is dated November 4th, 2023.
Thank you. May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you.
2023.
Now, as it relates to those two searches, I'd like to ask you a little bit about the February 4th search first. You indicated that you actually responded to 34 Fairview personally, correct?
I was responding to that location on my own. I personally responded, yes.
Okay. That was
What do you say?
because you had received information
Just
that
not on the
Chief
night of his death.
Berkowitz had seen something or found something. Is that right? Chief Berkowitz from Canton PD.
That is not correct, no.
Okay. So when you got there, was Chief Berkowitz there?
Yes, he was.
You just happened to go by 34 Fairview at the exact same time on the exact same date as Chief Berkowitz, or was that coordinated in some way?
There was no coordination between me and Chief Berkowitz. As I testified, I had directed the troopers to go by the location. I planned to go by the location in the morning on the way to the office and in the afternoon on the way home, just to see if any more items would reveal themselves. So that morning, I was actually traveling to that location in order to conduct a view of the area
Conveniently.
to see if
How
any more evidence
convenient.
had been revealed. Prior
Yeah.
to my arrival, approximately while I was on Chapman Street, I received a call indicating that Chief Berkowitz was at the location, yes.
And was there also an Officer Lank, a Sergeant Lank?
I do not know Sergeant Lank was there, no.
Okay. Chief Berkowitz certainly was there.
Yes,
And Chief Berkowitz indicated that as he was driving by, he saw a piece of plastic.
yes.
And started making phone calls.
Yeah,
And his favorite hobby was toting his wall out into the exercise yard.
that's exactly what Chief Berkowitz did.
I guess after Tommy was killed.
To check his pockets.
That's what he indicated to the caller, yes.
Did you question Chief Berkowitz about why he was driving by the location in the first place?
Absolutely not.
Okay, you knew,
Steve, pause it for a second, will you?
Yeah. Oh!
Okay, so first off, the chief,
Yeah.
right? The chief.
Why is he even there?
He's not out looking for nothing, man. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm assuming the chief of police here probably doesn't even get out of bed, right? Maybe he probably doesn't even leave his house,
Yeah.
right? He's probably worthless and does nothing. That's what I'm assuming. He gets paid a lot of money. You're going to tell me that this dude who doesn't even leave his house and now a sergeant who's in charge, who didn't even go to the scene on the night the guy died, weeks later,
The chief is out there.
does a drive. The chief is out there looking around a yard for stuff, for evidence. And as he's driving by, he sees glass in the yard. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Play it. Sorry.
that the Canton Police Department had been recused because
That's some of the dumbest shit I ever heard.
appearance or potential for conflict of interest, correct?
I knew they recused themselves due to only in respect to interviews. They didn't want to conduct interviews with us side by
I
side.
mean, if there's a conflict of interest, Sergeant,
It's all across the board.
Yeah.
conducting the interviews is just one aspect of
Yeah.
an investigation, correct?
I'm not going to speak to a conflict of interest, but yes, conducting an interview is just one aspect of the investigation, yes.
So is it your testimony that your understanding was they couldn't conduct interviews, but they could collect evidence, store evidence, write search warrants, get returns on search warrants, execute search warrants?
Doesn't sound like there was a conflict to me there.
They could do all that and not conduct interviews?
My understanding was they were recusing themselves from conducting interviews. They still allowed us to use their facilities. We utilized their conference room to conduct interviews. There was evidence being stored at their Sally Port, being the vehicle. So that was my understanding.
You got to have your people that can still plant the evidence for you.
Yeah.
That the entirety of the Canton Police Department had recused itself because of a familiarity between one of their members, Kevin Albert, and the Albert family on whose lawn John O'Keefe was found. That was the conflict, correct?
I knew that that was the connection between them, yes.
And you understood, sir, that that agency was to have nothing, from an investigative standpoint, nothing to do with this investigation, correct?
They were not conducting the investigation, no.
Matter of fact, Trooper Proctor and you supervising him, y'all were conducting the investigation, right?
Our office was conducting the investigation.
So did you find it unusual or suspicious in any way that the chief of police for the conflicted Canton PD was the person driving by 34 Fairview looking for evidence?
Objection.
No.
Can you answer that question, Sergeant?
Bullshit.
He would have to repeat it. There's just so much I can't.
It was a little wordy. I'll try it again. Did you find that
Gotta pay
suspicious?
attention.
Which part? You have to repeat the whole thing.
That Chief Berkowitz from the conflicted Canton PD was at 34 Fairview looking for evidence.
Yeah.
The way you
That's
posed the
sus.
question, I did not find it suspicious at all. He's the chief of the police in the town where he works, and he's driving down the street. I mean, that's not suspicious.
With a conflict of interest on the very case that he's driving by.
Objection.
Look at his face. He knows.
He's smirking.
Yeah, he's smirking. Well, he's just driving by the house and sees glass in the yard.
You
That
certainly
probably an
know as a
eagle couldn't
supervisor
see.
over the case officer that any involvement by Canton Police Department, given the fact that there's a potential conflict, any involvement by them could compromise your otherwise clean investigation. You knew that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Say yes.
Not necessarily, no.
Did Chief Berkowitz disclose to you that morning on February 4th that he had been communicating with Brian Higgins and Brian Albert, two witnesses on your case that morning?
Objection.
Sustained.
That would be an interview.
Information about communication between and among Canton PD and your witnesses. You would find that inappropriate, would you not?
Objection.
Sustained.
You returned to the scene
Next
on
question,
February 10th,
son.
is that right? To conduct another search, you said.
Just fly by
I was
these.
present on the 10th, yes.
Who dispatched you back to, or did anybody dispatch you back to that location on February 10th? How did you end up there is a better way to ask it.
February 10th, just like previous days,
I was just driving
made
by.
plans to go to the location in the morning, in the afternoon, drive by. I was on
made
my way to
plans.
work and to home. So
All these days they made
traveled
plans.
that route on purpose. And as evidence revealed itself due to the natural melting of the snow, we would stop and collect the visible evidence.
You believed at this point, sir, that whatever you might collect at the scene would obviously be important, correct?
Anything we collected that had evidentiary value or presented itself as somehow related to the crime or the incident would be collected.
And it would be important to the investigation, right? You treat it as important.
Treated as a point, yes.
So my question was, especially as it relates to the February 10th search, where there were multiple items found, did you seek to have CSSS come out and actually either mark with GPS coordinates or measure with cross coordinates exactly where each item of evidence was found?
We did not do that. We had collected so much evidence already and so much documented that
So much evidence.
not contact crime scene services to come back out and photograph more shards of glass and plastic. We simply collected it for processing.
So the location.
So you messed that up too.
Yeah.
Couldn't even get that right, sir.
To you, at least at that time.
No, they
It
didn't
was
get
of
a
great
crap.
importance as
No, it
to the
wasn't.
fact
No,
that
it wasn't.
located in the vicinity where the victim was found and in the vicinity of other items located of the same characteristic, shape, size, and color.
So that's my question, Sergeant. What does vicinity mean?
Yeah. Explain
in
this.
the area.
I can't wait to hear this. Area what?
Okay.
Area what, sir?
It's a location, specific location.
Okay.
What?
How do you know it's specific?
Yeah. Of what? Yes. Tell
An
me.
area of 5 feet or an area of 50 feet?
Based on where the items were recovered, we're talking about an area approximately of 30 square feet between
Wow. That's a big area, dude.
You can see that. You can see little pieces of glass, 30 feet in melting snow.
into the grass.
In grass?
The chief of police, who's probably blind like us.
There's 30 square feet.
It's the-
6 by 6 is what it is.
Sergeant, of items that were butted up against a fire hydrant in one instance, correct? Is that yes?
That's correct, yes.
A drinking straw that's out in the road, correct?
That's correct.
Another shard of glass that's in the grass closer to
correct.
the flagpole, correct?
Correct.
A hat that's under the snow.
The flagpole was nowhere near the fire
The
hydrant.
left side of the flagpole,
Well, that's a
correct?
small front yard.
I'm sorry,
So
it wasn't.
it looks like
Closer
it's
to the
not, but it's
electrical
pretty
box,
close.
wasn't it?
No, the pictures
Electrical box is all the way over.
documented where the hat was. It was to the right of the flagpole.
So these shards of glass, the point I'm asking is, did you see
They're really spread out.
to use basic cross coordinates, measurements from something that you know is a known object, like for instance, I don't know, a flagpole or a fire hydrant.
Starting
27
point.
inches to the north and a foot and a half to the south. Points. That would give you a cross coordinate, correct?
It would document the exact location, correct?
And you did not do that with any of these items, correct?
The items that were not photographed were not also GPS located, but they were within the same vicinity of where the other items were collected.
But again,
He's trying to
now
clarify,
we're
isn't
back
he?
in
Yeah,
question.
he's trying to get it all to where it's cohesive. Like we found it in the area of John. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to set it up.
Sustain.
It just doesn't sound good because it doesn't sound normal. Well, that glass is there's the way he's talking is spread all over the yard. It wouldn't be like that.
When you recover
The
these
polycarbonate
items or any other
doesn't break
items,
like that.
It's obviously important to memorialize on the evidence bag or in some other way exactly where they're found, who found them, the date, time, etc. Correct?
We do the best we can to document all known information on each evidence item bagged at the time.
And in terms of the February
should be
10th search,
exact
I wanna
100%
just
of the
ask you
time.
a couple of quick questions
Yeah.
about that evidence bag. Did you bag the items into a single evidence bag that you found that day, or do you recall?
I would have to see the bag. If you have those available, I'll take a look. I can answer.
With the court's permission, exhibit, I think it's 310.
You need to take a look at the brown bag.
Yesterday, I'd like to display that.
Excuse me.
You all right?
A little tickle.
You're looking at a photograph of what was previously entered in evidence as 310. Can you see that from where you're at? I don't.
No, I can't, Jackson. I can't see that.
If you don't, I can certainly ask Grace to enlarge it.
If you can enlarge it, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, make it bigger. There we go.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I didn't realize
That's
I've got
his
a
name.
photograph of it.
Dude, I still can't see. I'm blind.
Can you select
5 pieces of red and black
Should make it easier.
and
That's
clear
better.
plastic.
5 pieces of red, black, and clear plastic. Does that say 5 or is that 6?
6 maybe.
And what day was this? Data collection, February 10th.
10th.
Okay. Month and a half later.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess maybe you could believe that. Maybe. I don't know. I think it's a stretch. I think he even wanted to laugh himself
Yeah.
with the chief of police driving around looking for evidence.
With the photograph, yes.
Okay, thank you. Taking a look at that evidence bag, it has the information on it, has your name is collected by, correct?
Correct.
The date of collection is February 10th, is that right?
That's what it says, yes.
Okay. And it indicates multiple pieces of red, black, and clear plastic, right? It actually says 6 pieces of red, black, and clear plastic, correct?
That's correct.
But that is not an evidence bag that was filled out by you, is it?
I did not fill that bag out, no.
Matter of fact,
Damn.
that's Trooper Proctor's handwriting.
I do not know what Trooper Proctor's handwriting is. I cannot confirm
that.
that that's his handwriting.
But it's
Can
not
we
your-
do that?
Nope.
It is not my handwriting, no.
So
Yeah, if it does, you have to initial by it.
Yeah, pause it, Steve, for a second. We cannot do that. We cannot. You got to fill it out. You got to sign it. You got to have your signature. Do they even have a signature on it? Maybe at the bottom.
Submitting agency, no.
No, just collected by.
Yeah.
But yeah, we
Looks
can't
like
do
there's a
that.
signature down there at the bottom.
So anyway, you're here in Vegas. You fill it out. You sign your name.
You pick it up. You fill it out.
Yeah, that's why they always say, what was the running joke? Keep your hands in your pockets.
Yeah.
Because if you touch it,
it's yours.
You're bagging it and you're tagging it.
Yeah.
So trust me,
some of those pieces are hundreds of pieces.
Oh, you pick up a suitcase and it's filled with 90 pieces of stolen property, and they're all like iPhones.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Even worse was the IDs and the credit cards, dude.
That did suck.
Yeah.
I hated those.
432s.
It's not unusual to sit there and impound evidence for 4, 5, 6 hours.
Yep. And you're doing it all by yourself because you want to make it right.
Yep.
Last thing you want to do is get a call from the evidence vault.
Are you aware that this particular bag, that bag that contained those 6 items of plastic material that you already deemed was incredibly important to the investigation, was never booked into any evidence until March 14th?
Wow.
The date that it was submitted to the crime lab?
I was not aware of that, no.
Let's talk about this, sir.
We can take that down, Mr. Bates. If I may approach, Your Honor?
Let's talk about this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you ever draft a report yourself documenting the recovery of those 6 items and the other 14 items that you said that you found on the same date, February 10th?
I did not, no.
Did you leave that assuming that Trooper Proctor would document that?
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
I'll ask it another way if I can. Did you believe that you didn't need to write a report, Sergeant, because Trooper Proctor would take care of that?
Same answer.
I knew that it would be documented. It was already documented on the actual bag as far as who collected it, when, where, what it was, and a report eventually would be authored on it.
But the where, for all these very intricate pieces, the where is left to 34 Fairview on the back, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Is that right?
The general vicinity location of the other items collected and documented with photographs was consistent with the same locations this was collected.
But not where. So anywhere on 34 Fairview.
Gears for just a second. Well, actually, I want to ask one final question about that item. Based on the documentation that you just mentioned, that it's documented on the bag, and if the bag is presented to the crime lab on on March 14th, some 5 weeks later, those items were completely unaccounted for from a log standpoint for the entire time from when they were collected until they were booked at the crime lab, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
Possession of those items for those 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Same answer, different.
Are you talking about the items that were just displayed on the screen?
I am, sir.
I did not.
Now I'd like to shift gears to a ring video that you saw yesterday. It's in Exhibit 6, video number 153. That may mean nothing to you. It's the 5:07 a.m. video of Miss Reed's car pulling out of the One Meadows garage. Do you remember that video?
I do.
Okay. You indicated yesterday on questioning, under questioning by Mr. Lally, that Miss Reed's car came in contact with or close to coming in contact with the other vehicle, the Traverse, in the video. Is that right?
But
the video,
I opening his bottle.
As I watched the video, I observed the vehicle come near Mr. O'Keefe's car.
Okay, that's what I want to talk about. With the court's permission, may we play that video one more time?
He's got the lid on so tight. Dude, you're in court. You don't need to seal it airtight. Just
get out of the way. Okay, you just play that for a quick second, and then I'll ask you to pause it.
Yeah, let's see this.
Pause. Does that appear to be, I'm just pausing it in the first 2 or 3 seconds, does that appear to be the video that you saw yesterday?
It appears that way, yes.
Okay. Mr. Bates, if you could enlarge the area around the the left rear tire of the Traverse.
Was it slow? Looks like electric
I'm gonna ask
rain,
you,
doesn't it?
Sir, if you'll pay close attention to what's been zoomed, and when the SUV gets close to it, I'm going to pause it and ask you another question. Can you go ahead and play this?
I'm not familiar with these.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this.
So why don't we pause the screen, take it down, and I'll see you at sidebar.
If we can have the lights, Your Honor.
Sure.
See it sidebar.
He won his argument.
He always does. Here it comes.
Go ahead and enlarge the rear area of the Traverse. And I'm going to ask you to pay special attention to that wheel and any movement that you may or may not see.
It may or may not move. Oh, there's this one.
Okay, pause it.
It's getting close. Getting close.
Okay, in about the next 3 seconds, Sergeant, I'm asking you to pay special attention to the wheel. Go ahead.
Okay. 3 seconds. Moved. That moved.
Yep.
Contact was made. 100%. Without a doubt, contact was made. Had to have been, or that wouldn't have moved, right?
Sergeant, were you able to see that video? I know it's not the clearest thing in the world. Were you able to see that video?
It was very clear.
Yes.
What did you notice about the rear wheel of the Traverse?
Based on the motion in the shot with the snow falling, it appears that.
Oh my God!
But the video speaks for itself.
What would
does
you
it say?
assess based on the movement
what does it
of
say?
the wheel of the Traverse about whether or not the two vehicles came in contact with one another?
Objection.
Sustained.
Bullshit.
Okay.
What? Anyway, we all saw it anyway.
Yep.
How could you? Yeah, we need a moment.
Thank you. I'm trying to use my time wisely, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Sergeant, you were asked about a couple of videos related to the Sallyport garage. Do you have that in mind?
Yes.
Matter of fact, we watched one of them pretty specifically toward the end of the day yesterday. Did you actually? I want to talk about the one that is the clearer of the two, where you slip. You remember that one?
Oh yeah.
He slips and falls. We gotta see that.
If you pull it up, I can.
I will in just a second.
Okay.
There was one where Mr. Lally paused it and you were slipping in front of the vehicle.
I don't recall myself slipping, no, but it was icy that day. So if there's documentation of me slipping,
I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
I didn't mean anything by that other than that was a moment that I thought you might recall to differentiate the videos. It's Exhibit 446, but I don't think that's going to help you. All right, let's see if I can do this another way. Did you actually personally go to Canton PD to retrieve any or all of the videos of the Sallyport? You yourself?
I did go to Canton and collect already extracted video.
Okay.
But it was a portion of video surveillance. I didn't collect all of the video, so
When was the most recent time that you went to Canton to collect a portion of a video?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Did you review?
Why would you get it all at once?
Well, let me ask it this way. Did you collect a video that was sought on or about April 23rd, April 24th this year, meaning just a few weeks ago?
Did I collect it?
Correct.
I did not collect that video of April this year, no.
You're aware that the video that you saw yesterday was in fact collected after the trial started in April of 2024?
Objection.
Sustained.
Are you aware of when that video that we saw yesterday was collected?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
I am not.
Yeah.
Okay. Was yesterday the first time you'd seen that video?
No.
When had you seen that video previously?
A couple of weeks ago.
Okay. What were the circumstances in which you saw that video?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you have a meeting with the DA?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you take a breath? Did you have breakfast?
Did you ever
Yeah.
have any kind of
Did you blink? Did you...
communication with Mr. Lally about your testimony?
Objection.
Sustained.
May we approach?
Yeah.
May I?
Yes.
Thank you.
How about this? You tell me what the fuck I can ask him. How about that?
Mr. Lally, in anticipation of your testimony?
Yes.
When was that?
It was about 2 weeks ago, and then
Oh, really?
last week, I believe.
And what was discussed? Generally.
Generally, we discussed the portions of the case that I would be presenting.
Did you write a report about your communications with Mr. Lally?
No, I did not.
Were you shown any of the videos that you've seen here in anticipation of your testimony?
Oh,
Not during the first meeting. I did review
tell
a
the truth.
video during the second time.
Okay, and that video was that you did see the second time was the interior video of the Sally Port that we saw yesterday, correct?
I'm just trying to remember exactly what video I saw. I had reviewed videos outside of our meeting, so
How many videos is he watching?
I
You
don't
can't remember.
exactly what video
Maybe
Mr. Lally
3?
showed me.
Come on.
But you do recall seeing the video that you saw yesterday, the sort of clear one that has the crime scene taping put up and all that. You have seen that one before,
Yes,
and that was with Mr. Lally, correct?
that is not correct because I do not recall when I saw that video or what video I saw with Mr. Lally.
I see. All right.
It was just last week.
I'd like to talk about that Exhibit
hostile.
446 for a second.
Me or him?
And then I'll show it to you. You indicated that the video, all the videos, everything that you saw yesterday was true and accurate, correct? Based on your memory of the events that were memorialized in the video?
The video captures events taking place in accurate fashion, yes.
In an accurate fashion. All right, that's what I wanted to find out. And after you watched the video, I think you were asked by Mr. Lally, does the video show you or Trooper Proctor having access to or messing with in any way that right rear tail light in any fashion? And you said never.
I was asked if at any point Trooper Proctor and I had came into contact, I believe, or touched the vehicle and that portion of the vehicle, and I said never. We never touched the vehicle prior to it being properly processed with a search warrant.
And that was specifically his question was to, and your answer was to the right rear portion of the vehicle, right? That right rear tail light.
The right rear damaged taillight, correct.
With the court's permission, I'd like to play a portion of Exhibit 446.
Okay.
Before we begin playing it, Mr. Bates, if you wouldn't mind, may I inquire, Your Honor, of the witness, just to lay a foundation? Yes. Sergeant, do you recognize this as being the video that we saw yesterday?
It does look accurate.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. This is 446, just so you have it in mind if I reference that. Mr. Bates, if you could play that. And I think it's runtime 120.
We were inverted. How'd you know? We were inverted.
Pause it. Do you recognize
Who's that?
that as the video we saw yesterday?
Yes, I do.
Very briefly, if you could move to time of day, 5:37:05.
there's a lot of people back there.
I know. So what we're seeing is not accurate though, right? Because it's inverted.
Yeah.
Which just makes it really weird.
Why would they do that?
How do you do that?
Hit invert on the button.
You can record like that?
Vehicle coming into the Sally Port, and we're looking at which side of the vehicle?
So that is the driver's side of the vehicle. What that video depicts is a mirror collection. Although mirrors are accurate representation of what you're seeing, it's just inverted. So that is the driver's side of the vehicle. I do not know why it is inverted, but that's the way it was presented, collected and presented from Canton Police.
Can you see a timestamp or a time and date stamp on the bottom of that? It's in blue.
I cannot know.
Okay. Does it appear that time and date stamp, if you can't read every letter on it, that is in correct order? In other words, that's not inverted.
I cannot read it now.
All right, let's go ahead and play this for a second.
How is the time not inverted? Well, I guess if you just export inverted.
Who's that just got out of
Don't try explaining it.
Yeah.
I do not know. I think that's the tow truck driver. He would have the only access to the vehicle.
Okay.
We did not touch the vehicle.
Who's that on the left?
Tow truck driver could though.
I missed it. I was looking down at the laser pointer. I do not know. I know for a fact I'm the gentleman that's wearing a dark olive drab state police baseball style hat, and Trooper Mike Proctor is wearing a winter hat.
Trooper Proctor's wearing what?
A winter hat.
Back up. That was playing. I didn't realize it was playing while you were talking.
Just disappears.
All right, so that's, who is that?
You said that's a tow truck driver.
That's a blue hat, right? Or that's the tow truck driver? See, they should be there when the tow truck driver is doing stuff. They should be standing there with him, make sure everything's cool, make sure he doesn't do anything.
Okay. Somebody back there, right there.
Okay.
Yesterday, when you testified, you indicated that the two individuals in this scene were you and Trooper Proctor, correct?
Oh.
Not correct. There was two individuals in the rear of the vehicle I shined my light to. That was me and Trooper Proctor.
Do you see Trooper Proctor toward the back of the rear of the vehicle there?
I can't tell because of what the head is. I just know that Trooper Proctor was wearing a black hat.
Which the person in that in the video to the left, to the rear of the car, is wearing a black hat, correct?
I can't tell. I don't want to be locked into a statement where later on you show me that it's somebody else magically. I can't testify to that.
There's no magic about
No
it.
magic.
It's your
No
testimony.
magic.
I'm just asking you.
You guys are the ones that inverted the film.
I don't see that, no.
There's no magic. Is that him or not? Is that him when he slid? Oh no, that's the tow truck driver. He's wearing.
Let's go ahead and play it this point. Do you see the person toward the back of the vehicle walking toward the opposite side of the SUV?
I do.
What area does he appear to be going to?
He appears to be going towards the rear passenger side of the vehicle, although it does not appear so because the video is inverted, a mirror image. That's where he's going.
And Sergeant Bukhenik, you testified for at least a half an hour about this video yesterday, correct?
I'm sorry, it was a long day. I don't know the timing of how long I testified.
You significantly testified about this video yesterday, did you not?
I testified about this video.
And you testified that it was true and accurate, correct?
Correct.
You testified that it was reflective of your observations of what was happening in that Sally Port that evening, correct?
I testified that this is a accurate scene and collection of video evidence from the Sally Port.
And as that truck sits in that Sally Port, just like this, it appears from all perspective that what we're looking at is the passenger side of the car, and that rear taillight is right there shining in our face, correct? From this perspective.
Yep.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
From this perspective.
You know what he said, you son of a bitch.
Perspective that the jurors are looking at. All indications that would appear to be the right side of the truck, the passenger side of the truck, And that taillight that you can see is the right rear taillight from this perspective, correct?
The way it presents itself, yes.
And yesterday, during the entirety of your questioning by Mr. Lally, not once did you mention that this video is actually completely inverted,
I
correct?
did not know.
Mr. Lally didn't ask
Why?
you if it was inverted, correct?
That's correct.
And if I hadn't gotten up here and begun questioning you, that would be left uncorrected, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Sneaking it by.
Yep.
The
See if
person
anybody
with
notices.
The winter cap appears to walk directly to the what ultimately should be the right rear taillight of this car, correct?
That's the vicinity, yes. That's where he is, yeah.
The only part that's hidden
Yeah. Away from?
from the camera.
Exactly.
The only part that's hidden away from the camera is the part that they're working on.
Yeah.
Pause it.
What other reason is there to do
I'd
that?
like you to pay attention to the right rear of this car. And I know we're completely backward, but it's the far corner of the car. Do you see a person's head there?
It appears as if someone's still there.
And that person is located at or near what portion of the car?
Taillight.
In real life or as it's depicted?
Is the person near the
picture.
in real life near the right rear taillight of the car?
Yes.
Objection.
Matter of fact, standing there, hovering around there, correct?
We don't know the distance that they are in proximity to the actual vehicle. We just know that they're behind the
Well,
vehicle.
there's a wall there and there.
Close, doesn't it? Sergeant?
Can't be within, he's got to be within 2-3 feet
Yep.
of it.
Does that look like
Of course you
close
object.
proximity to the right rear taillight?
As I said, I can't tell how far away he is from the vehicle.
His head's right there, sir.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
You can't tell right next
Playing
to the right rear
stupid now.
taillight?
Objection.
That's what he's doing.
Sustained.
Sustained. Of course, Aunt Bev.
I want you to pay attention to what that person does as soon as the other person comes out from behind that car. See if you see him move. Stop it. Do you see that person move?
I saw movement in the frame, yes.
Right when the other person is in eyesight of the person toward the right rear, correct?
I mean, the video
Correct.
speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Well, he's asking you, man.
Objection, Your Honor.
He's not gonna.
Objection sustained. No commenting, Mr. Jackson.
Of course, Bev. You got to protect your boys. How is this lady even a judge?
Yeah.
She don't let them ask anything. How are they going to get to the bottom of it?
If you can, right at this moment or right before this moment, and that is the timestamp. We back it up maybe 10 seconds. Right about there.
Who's that? Who that?
Instead of, don't play it yet. Instead of paying attention to the individuals, I'm going to ask you, can you see, may I approach the screen you're on?
Yes.
Can you see the timestamp at 5:37 and 37 seconds p.m.? Can you see that from where you're at?
No, I cannot.
Me neither. That's why I don't walk up to it.
Blow it up.
Let's play it for about 10 seconds.
This guy appears right there. Watch. Boom.
Yeah. What was he doing?
Did you see another person just appear toward the rear end of the car?
I did. Did you?
There was a
ghost.
fog of some sorts.
David Copperfield.
It did
said a
appear
fog.
as if a person was actually in
He said a fog.
there, and two
Yeah.
people walked away.
That wasn't fog. That was a person.
The timestamp jumped to 5:38:01. Correct?
I cannot see the timestamp, sir.
Did it appear that there was an anomaly? There was a portion of that video that was deleted. What's missing?
anomaly.
Not deleted, just missing.
Objection.
Can you tell that? Does it appear that way to you, Sergeant?
No, Your Honor, I cannot tell what is happening with the video.
Move on, Jackson. That's what you're supposed to say.
No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. We made it up. We made this one. It's a total fabrication.
Thank you, number one.
Thank you, number one.
If you take a close look at there's a classic police car in that Sally Port, correct?
There's an antique vehicle there, yes, yes.
If you take a close look at the trunk of that vehicle, see the word police?
Yes, I believe I can read that, yes.
And it's backward, correct?
It is mirrored, correct.
That's a good indication that this is an inverted video, right?
It appears that way, yes.
And if we were to fast forward at 5:42,
There's a lot of people around that car.
Yep.
5, 6 people. Oh, it is inverted. Yeah, I can really see it. But...
Yeah.
not another 20 seconds, Mr. There you go. We can just play it at this point. Well, you take one pause. Pause it. You see the Sally Port garage came down?
Yes,
You see a number on the garage?
I do.
Is that correct?
Backwards 4.
What is correct?
Does the number appear correct? How do you make it 4?
No, the number's in the mirror image, yes.
I just wanted to make the point. Everything in this video is completely backward, correct?
It's not backwards, it's mirrored, reversed. You can look yourself in the mirror in the morning, you still see your own face. It's not backwards.
But my mirror image
can't believe
is
you
not
said-
an accurate depiction of who I am. My
Check.
actual physical appearance is who I am, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
A mirror image, Sergeant, is not an accurate video of this, is it?
No.
Objection.
It's a
Mirrored.
mirror image by definition.
Sustained. Ask it
Hence the
differently,
term.
Mr. Jackson.
How are you going to ask that differently?
Rhonda, thank you. I don't think I need to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm done with this. Bullshit.
I would like to mark.
Those are the sirens coming to arrest him for his lies.
Yeah. Going down.
Let's wait.
Let's wait for the sirens to pass. They're rolling code to something.
I have a thumb drive that I'd like to have marked with the court's permission.
Does Mr. Lally know what's on this thumb drive without you telling us?
I do not.
Okay.
We can approach and I can certainly bring it up.
Well, we're trying to wrap up our morning.
Yeah, Bev has things to do.
Verification.
Bev is a busy girl. She's probably going to get a massage and her nails
The
done.
first 10 seconds of that video.
No. We'll
She don't have time for this. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I think that's it. Is that it? Wow.
The video ended.
Abruptly.
I told you, Bev had to go get her nails done, right? She's a busy woman, man. She's moving and shaking.
I mean, how long have we been doing Karen videos?
A couple months.
Aunt Bev's procedures have not wavered. She's not letting Axon Jackson do his job correctly.
She is
right?
annoying.
But he's smart enough
Yes.
to work around it.
Yes.
The workarounds, right?
Yes. She's like a rock in the river. He just goes around her,
Yeah.
which is cool. But
Yeah.
what I don't understand, I mean, maybe the lawyers can chime in the comments. Why, when they keep saying, why ask it differently? It's the same answer. I
Yeah.
don't understand why
I
they have
understand
to rephrase in the question.
Rephrase it, yeah.
He's not, if it's an incriminating statement, I mean, okay, but it's still an incriminating statement. He has to say the answer, the truth. I don't understand why she says ask it differently.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
I don't get that. Maybe you lawyers, anybody in the comments chime in.
My small brain can't even process it, the first way of saying it. What?
I'll have to ask
There's nothing.
Emily B. Baker.
Yeah, she would know.
B. Baker, she'll know. She's a smart lady. Yeah, that bugs me. Because, anyway.
Huh.
Well,
I don't know what to think about that. I've had officers that remind me of Bukhenik, right?
Bukhenik, yep.
Bukhenik. Cool dudes. But once they promoted up to a sergeant, it changes a little bit, right?
Yeah. A lot of people change. Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because I could see him being a real dick to a younger officer that might ask the wrong question.
Yeah, I can too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's got that aura about him that
Get out of here.
Yeah, he's got that mob kind of, don't bother me with your petty bullshit. You know what I mean? And he's probably like, I'm a sergeant.
Yeah.
I don't have time for this bullshit.
Right.
That's probably why he didn't go to the scene.
Yeah.
I could totally see him being like, hey, you heading over to the scene, Sarge? Nah, man, fuck that. My guy's got it.
Yeah. Or here, I collected this evidence and pattern for me.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Right.
Sergeants. That's why when he said chief is out doing work, man, once you go to a sergeant and above, you're not worthless, but you're not a cop. You're not out on the street. You're not running and gunning. Come on, you're sitting. That's why he didn't do anything. He sat in the office for probably 2 or 3 days, just saying my guys will handle it, even though he's the boss. And when you're the boss here in Vegas, you get your butt out there, and you see it, or the guy above you is going to chew your butt.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
It rolls downhill for sure.
Absolutely, Lieutenant.
Especially when if your span of control has one officer who's not doing a very good job, and a report sneaks by the sergeant and makes it to the lieutenant, and the lieutenant don't like it, he's talking to the sergeant.
Yeah, yeah. And if imagine a homicide, the homicide sergeant telling the lieutenant a dead cop, and he didn't go to the scene.
Yeah, that would what?
It would probably be this.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. And I don't even know if you're going to be here in homicide anymore.
Yep.
Get to that scene. Well, it was 2 years ago. I don't give a shit. Go now. At least you can say you went there.
The thing is when you're a patrol officer, right? You hunt, you respond to calls, right? And then you do your proactive stuff, right? Your directed patrol activity. Yeah. So when you promote to, let's say, not even promote, but when you go to like PSU, right? Your job is not more focused on what you do.
Correct.
Then you go to homicide. Then you're really focused. So you know what your job is.
Yeah.
You have procedures that you have to follow. You have to check off. And if you skip those, that's where shit happens.
Stop. You can't skip. You're right.
No.
When you skip, you're like, whoa. Let's go back, check the boxes. Let's do it in order.
Yep.
And you learn that from Street Cop 101, being the first day. By the time, like, we have a buddy, we trained, a trainee, and he's in homicide now. All the way to homicide. You remember and you learn, and then it's easy.
Yeah.
So for these guys, it should have been real easy.
Yep.
It's not. So.
Yep. So.
Either way.
All right. Well, that's Bukhenik in a nutshell.
Bukhenik.
Bukhenik.
We got more coming for you. We got Sarah from Mulaney to do.
Yeah.
First responders.
Yeah. I know.
Or the first officers that were there on the scene. So. We're going to do them as well.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that could be big. That could be big.
Well, as first responders ourselves.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
We'll really be able to diagnose what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, not really, because there's only camera from the car.
Correct.
Right.
A lot will be told from their videos. We probably should have done those first.
Yeah. Hindsight, right? Start from the beginning.
Probably should have done those first, but
we're bass-ass awkward guys.
We're pretty stupid over here at LVCopsTV.
Let's go.
Hey, anyway, like, subscribe, share with your friends, family, whoever you want. If they watch it, cool. If they don't, that's okay. Yeah. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for everything that you guys do, following us, which is enough in itself.
I got a question, Steve. What is it? I keep seeing the YouTuber saying, smash that like button. What does that do for us? Anything? What does that do?
It helps more people to see it.
Oh,
it's
like
gives it to more algorithms or what?
Yeah, YouTube thinks people like it.
Oh,
well then smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Smash it. What is that, the thumbs up?
No, the like button.
Yeah, the thumbs up.
Oh, is it the thumbs up?
Thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Give us 2.
Yeah.
Can you do 2? Probably not. Anyway, we're out of here. Thanks for watching.
For those who are still serving, have a safe tour of duty, please.
And make a difference in someone's life. Stay classy, Las Vegas.
Always. Man, I got something in my throat, dude.
I know. Often
it might be
you got the COVID?
No,
you got the COVID?
No. It might be a damn cat hair.
1 Sam 5 and 1 Sam 6. Copy of 425 call.
Copy. 1 Sam 5 en route.
1 Sam 6. Copy. En route.